Hello, good evening and a very warm welcome to Rangers Radio. Hello, good evening and welcome to Rangers Radio. I'm Southside and joining me on the show this evening is AK and the legend of Rangers Radio, Bridgeman. How are you guys?
Evening Southside, evening Bridgeman, evening to Rangers Radio's listeners.
Good evening to yourself, Southside, and of course Kelso up there, and two techie boys in the background. And just say a big good evening to all the Rangers fans listening in all over the world. Good evening. Welcome to Rangers Radio.
How about you, AK? How's been your weekend?
Oh, happy Monday, pal. Happy Monday. Aye, good weekend. Aye, good to see a Rangers win again.
Yep. Bridgeman, yourself, how have you been? All right?
I've been magic, yes. Thanks, pal. Looking forward to it. I'm away on holiday on Wednesday. That's me away on holiday for a couple of weeks. So looking forward to that. I've been dragged around the shops and all that, with a wife,
Right. Getting the.
Of course, yes.
It needs to be done, mate. Of course, it needs to be done. Mrs. Bridge is the boss, mate.
For 54 years. You better believe it, pal.
Yep, well done, mate. Anyway, Hampden, Saturday, into the next round of the Cup. And I thought we played no bad first half. And I could see a wee improvement for the week before and the quickness in the build-up. And the team, certainly the starting line-up, did that surprise you?
It did, pal, aye. Looking at the team, the changes that he made for the Dynamo Kiev game, 5 changes he made. Yilmaz's obviously injured. Barron went out onto the bench. McCausland out. Desser's out. Lawrence out. But he gave also game time to Danilo was the big one starting. Sterling into the midfield. Yefty obviously in at left back there. And Dow in at the Lawrence role that we've been looking for a bit of creativity. So there was some a wee bit of surprises with the changes that he made, but I think it's needed by the amount of games that the players have played so far, and he needs to utilise his squad accordingly.
Aye, Bridgeman, when you seen the lineup, I take it you're a wee bit surprised, but it was good to see Danilo come in.
Exactly, my words, exactly, yes. It was really good, really, really, really good to see him on the pitch as well, He's a quality player, but he's a long way off full fitness and match fitness. He's maybe half a yard out of sync with everybody else and another wee half a yard for himself, I would say that's probably, it's going to take him a number of games. I'm very pleased he got 45 minutes in, and he needs to get another 45 minutes in as soon as possible, and so on and so forth, just to build his strength and his legs up and his confidence. But I really do think it was a really good, I thought he did a really good performance for 45 minutes. Unfortunately, shall we say, wasted chances. I might be a bit strong saying it's wasted chances, but they really were wasted, And what can you say? We've missed a lot of chances, Rangers, over the past wee while. And Danilo just continued it back. He's got something to cling on to. Played well, made a lot of passes, received a lot of passes, and had a good. Made the goalkeeper make a few saves, and that was good.
Aye, I think AK, he showed a lot of movement. He did a wee burst where he laid the ball off in the halfway line, and he ran right into the box. He got into space. Unfortunately, Matondo didn't pick him out. But I thought he's overall, for the amount of time he's been out, 7 months. The last time I seen him, I think, apart from running up and down the touchlines, was Birmingham away. So that's his sort of first competitive game for 7 months or thereabouts. And I thought it was good just to get him back on the pitch. He missed a couple, as in he hit the target, didn't finish it. Probably put it down to mere rustiness than than missing the chance. But you'd hope he'd have scored. I think a goal would have gave him a bigger boost again to get back in the goal scoring trail. But I think the most important, it was just seeing him back in a jersey and just seeing how he was for the 45 minutes.
You're right there, and it coincided with the questions that David Edgar was giving the gaffer there during the week, and intimating that there was an injury issue there with Danilo, and people didn't seem to believe it. Come on to tell him that was just the way that he walked. Well, there you go. You've seen a 45 minutes. If there was an injury issue with Danilo, then you wouldn't see him at all. I think the game time, or the lack of game time, was a bit concerning. I'll know why myself there, why we not seen him. But it's obviously that they've got to treat him with kid gloves, and they've got to listen to the medical team. I know it's a bone of contention when the likes of Albert and that, but when you're talking about that sort of injury, you don't want to rush them back too soon, because if they twist their knee on the grass or something, suddenly it could be a further setback. So you're right. Game time is a wee bit rusty. Couple of good shots on target, keeper saved, but I'm hoping to see him more and more as we progress into the season, which was also good, by the way, for the likes of Dessers to sit on the sideline and maybe look at a bit of movement, maybe look at something that he could do, which complements Danilo and the forward line that we've got as well. So I think it was a good exercise in starting Danilo in the first place.
It was good to stay game minutes. Obviously, the gaffer had spoke about it, Bridge, and no, it was good. He's got 45 minutes. He got himself into scoring positions, and hopefully going forward, it gives him that. We'll maybe see him 60 minutes, maybe the next time or whatever, and then hopefully he'll kick on in the next week or two, and then we go to a break. So hopefully by the time we come back after the break, we've got 3 games before the break. So if he's involved in them, and then hopefully after the break, we'd like to think that he'd be in contention to start and push Dessers, or maybe even play up front with Dessers, depending on what the manager wants to do in the future.
I think, when I look at the way a lot of the players played, I do think that Danilo, I thought he was really good in the first half. I really do. And I think it's certainly perked me up, because I'm looking forward to seeing him again. So hopefully in the next few games he gets an hour wee half, or more than a half, some get it up to an hour. That's what I want from him, and we should see a really good player, a real quality player. And once the passes start finding their targets, and more so him receiving decent passes, because sometimes our players don't actually give good passes. I think he's going to be a smashing player for us. I think he's a good player now, but I think he's going to be a smashing player for us.
Aye, I thought he contributed, and it was good to see him. And obviously in the first half, when the game started, we lined up with Sterling in the midfield beside Kieran Dowell, and Danilo was sort of pushed up slightly into the 10 role. But I thought even that, changing the midfield up, I thought we got a pace of the game at the start, and we wanted to fire balls out wide. We were making quite quick passes, and it was leading to us creating chances in that first half through Matondo's pace on the wing as well. But I thought Sterling, I'm not sure, but did you think of Sterling and Kieran Dowell together? I didn't think Sterling had a great game in midfield, if I'm honest. But I'm not sure if you thought they linked up well or no.
Nah, well, they were a bit of a much for a muchness. I think the likes of we're getting used to seeing Connor Barron in there already, the aggressive physicality he brings into that midfield. You've not got a lot of creativity, I don't think, out of Sterling. I think Barron offers that wee bit more, and I think Diamondi has that in his locker as well. But I was quite pleased with actually the way that Yefty and Matondo looked in the left-hand side. I think that could give us positivity going forward. They're using that. I don't know. We still don't know where the window's going to be shut, where Matondo has got a future there. Everything's up in the air now, but the gaffer's just trying to put a team out in the park that's capable of getting the wins, getting the results, to get a wee bit of impetus going forward for our next game. So it was all about getting the result, getting the win. We see the likes of Hearts coming unstuck at Falkirk, you know, so that's a team that we beat in the semi-final last year. They're not in it, and basically it was all about getting to the next round for me.
As in these sort of games, Bridge, sometimes we sort of change the team a bit in the past, which we've done in cup ties, and we made the changes that he seen, and it was enough to see us through. And that's what it was all about, basically looking to try and get better performances, and some were given another chance, like Matondo. I thought he was bright, Bridge, man. I thought he put a lot of running in, and he had the beating of that defender, certainly. It was just final passes. Sometimes it just wasn't there, I thought, in the team, in the final third.
Yeah, and I think Matondo was guilty of a lot of that with his final passes. But he's obviously a lively player and looks good. And when he does get past his man, he looks dynamite, you know. And all you're looking for is that wee final crossfield pass, or do what other good players do when they get past their man, smash it across the front of the goal. But I don't know if that goes to get the strength in the legs to go run, do all the running, and then have a real good hammer it across the pitch, you know, across the front of goal, see what happens. Just, you know, you see some guys doing the English Premiership, and they play, the ball comes across at 100 mile an hour in through the gap on the 6-yard line, and you know, and they're lucky that nobody touches it if it goes on. If anybody touches it, a good chance it's going to deflect in. We don't have anybody that's doing that at the moment. The last person I saw actually doing that for us was the two fullbacks we had, Barisic and the Tavernier. They can put a bit of pace on the ball, a bit of meat behind it. But I don't think we've got very many that can do that. I'm talking about only purely crosses now. You take your man, you beat him, and you get a cross in. A really good cross, you know, with a bit of weight behind it, and let them go and fight for it. But really and truly, Matondo is a good player, but he could be a really, really, really good player. I don't know if he's unfit for some reason. I've got no idea. But he's certainly not at top of his form, but I think he's a good player.
I think we used him more on Saturday, AK, because we switched the bottom quite a bit on the left-hand side, and we gave him the freedom to go and commit the defender and get by him. And he could probably have scored on Saturday. Czerny could have scored on Saturday in the first half. Yefty had a chance as well. He was unlucky. Danilo had a couple of chances as well. And to be honest, even if we took one or two of them in the first half, it would have totally changed the complexion of the game. But when we got to half time on Saturday and we hadn't scored, we'd certainly made the chances in the first half. And I thought we moved the ball quicker. St Johnstone posed us a couple of problems at times. Sidibe, I think he's called, played up front, the number 16 and the number 29. I thought they were good on the ball. They chased everything down. They tried to get on the ball and commit our defenders and that. But there was only a couple of flashes in the first half that they sort of gave us a scare. I thought we controlled most of the first half, totally in the first half, and deserved to have been in the lead, although we didn't.
Aye, on opportunities, aye, definitely. But what I noticed with the kind of finishing, it was more a shot directly at the keeper a few times. We didn't actually force him what a tip and save, outstanding save round the post or whatever. I mean, as you say, St Johnstone had a couple of good opportunities as well. Kind of halfway through, the guy cut inside Tavernier, and then Suter gets a block and then deflects for a corner. And then later on in the first half, they hit the post. I'm not sure where Butland touched onto the post or what, but that was a really good save for Butland. If we'd have been in 1-0 down at half time, I think there would have been groans coming for the crowd. But getting in 0-0, it was still positive. The gaffer got to make his changes, and the changes, the substitutes that he brought in the second half, they've definitely worked in our favour. But going on the possession, stats and all that, we had 26 goals, shots at goal. 11 on target, 15 off. I mean, there are positivities to pick out of that, but are the what would you say, what's the word for it? The class, the quality was missing up front, and that's probably down to Danilo's lack of game time, Matondo's lack of game time, and even Czerny. We're hoping once they're all up to full speed, you would look to get a better goal return out of them than what they were shown for.
You hear on that one?
You want the end product, Bridge. That's what we're missing. We're not killing teams off early. We're not killing teams off in 90 minutes. And that's been the issue. But the chances did come, and it's just about the lack of quality in the finish. Down to probably, like you say, Danilo's probably a bit more rusty than Maist. So the quicker he can get up to speed. But we created more chances. A lot of people thought St Johnstone would be a sticky game for us, and they would sit in, but they didn't sit in. We forced them back, I think, in the first half. Any chance they go to break, they tried to play the ball forward, and they did try and attack us. But I thought in the first half we kept them penned in for Maist, and if it's just a pity that we didn't have better quality at the time. And I think we would have been in. We could have been cruising that game by half time.
We should have been, actually. Southside, that's the truth. We should have been cruising. They had some tremendous chances in the first half, first few minutes, to do all these things. I didn't see a great deal of danger from St Johnstone, other than when they kept, because they targeted our fullbacks or the fullback space, and that is always dangerous for Rangers because we don't know how to defend. We just don't know how to defend that. That's what I think. In my opinion, Tavernier, I think he's coming onto a game for attacking purposes, but I think he's shocking in defence at the moment, and that's the same with all the defenders at the moment. Their game's no right. Souters flatters to deceive most of the time. What can you say about that boy Proper? He's injured already. It always happens to the Rangers players, doesn't it? But I mean, that's us. But Jefty, I thought, super duper. From a defence perspective, well, he never did a great deal of defending, but my goodness gracious, he caused a lot of trouble up the pitch of it. So very good all over.
I would have said that Jefty probably didn't get tested on the left because they tried to target us on the right hand side. They tried to overload with their number 29 coming out wide, and they tried to get the fullback pushed up and double up on Tav, and a couple of times they got by him. But I thought overall he wasn't tested that much. I thought he'd done all right considering. He looks a yard off. Most wingers or that look like they could go by him. You don't need to have a lot of pace. But listen, I thought he settled in eventually in the first half, and I thought they, apart from a couple of flurries up the park, St Johnstone, and competing sometimes in the midfield, I thought we had them on the back foot for most there. And I thought Jefty, as we mentioned him, I thought he done well going forward. I thought he found the space. I thought he linked up well with Matondo. AK, and I thought it was a positive for us in that half that they two were managing to get both themselves up the park in decent positions. Sometimes it was just the final ball or the finish that let us down.
You're right in what you're saying there. We're looking at different combinations and hopefully different relationships to build, because we're going to miss Cortez for a wee while, and we had that left hand side. It worked best when we had Yilmaz, when we had Diamondi, we had Cortez. Now we're looking at a whole new left hand side to building relationships, obviously with the absence of both Yilmaz and Cortez. So Jefty's he's finding his feet in Scottish football. He doesn't really know what to expect of a lot of teams, but he should be known by now that it's going to be physical. So he's got to stand up and be counted, really. He's available, which is a positive. But it looks as if he can be a sort of utility player on that left-hand side for me. He's comfortable going forward. And, if he's bringing creativity to the team, hopefully he can maybe even chip in with a goal or an assist or whatever. And David Barisic done for a long time on there. So, him and Matondo looked decent on Saturday, but obviously they're going to have stiffer tests against the better teams in the league, and that as the season progresses.
Aye, well, that was half time. I just thought we were talking about it half time. Because I met Ox at the game on Saturday, we were sitting together, and we were just thinking that we should have probably had the lead up until half time, you know. But second half, we get introduced, and it's CD9 comes on, who eventually goes on to make the difference in the game, Bridgeman. He comes on for Danilo, and then obviously we eventually, after a good bit of pressure, we managed to take the lead. I don't know what your thought on it at the time. When watching it at the game, I thought the referee looked like he was gesturing at some point. He was going to maybe blow a foul, but I heard Levine talking after it. There was no St Johnstone player stopped at all. The centre back, who he still had to beat, was still trying to stop him, and the goalkeeper was coming out to save it, and he finished it. And then obviously the referee's blowing the whistle because he thinks he's seen a foul. But I don't think it was a foul at all. I think it was how Dessers explained it. He kicked into his toe or his foot as he was turning to go away, and he's fell out, and he's played on. And I didn't see it being a free kick at all in any way, shape or form.
No chance that was a free kick. To me, no chance. I think all the stupid ones that they've taken goals off us because something happened, and then when they look into it, they find out that actually nothing happened. Or the same decision was not made. The opposite was given a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a year ago. That kind of thing. No, I think there's a huge furore it's created, and Levine's right behind that furore. And I tell you what, I'm sorry, that was never in your life was that a free kick. Never in your life was that a free kick. Never with anything else. Seriously, it was they did very, very well keep his feet himself. Big Dessers and hammered it in. So that was good for us. And I hope the rest of the players took a bit out of that, good stuff, 100%. Now go on and score more, as you know.
Aye, it was a nice pass in for Matondo, AK. I don't know what your take on it was, but you're always taught to play to the whistle, and they certainly never blew the whistle. It was just after he's put the ball in it, he's more or less standing, he sort of takes a couple of steps, stands at the edge of the 18-yard box, and then blows for a foul. It was a length of time it took. In the stadium, they went to show you a replay, and then they showed you a still. So you're sitting there looking at it thinking, what they're looking for offside then? Well, it's clearly no. And then it just went off. And it must have it felt like close to enough 4 minutes or something like that to make a decision.
This comes back in our officiating in the VAR team. We've seen the Euros and how efficient they guys were at making the decision, and it was only when the UK officials were involved in any of the games, that's when a wee bit of debate. I just don't think our officials are very good at that VAR, but I watched it numerous times and I couldn't see a foul whatsoever. I couldn't see any contact because the camera angles that was showing you wasn't very clear. But I seen one tonight. Rangers released something themselves for Hampden, and it was a slowed down video for behind the goals. And first of all, you've got to give Matondo credit for his excellent play. I thought nipping the ball off the boy's toe and then made a couple of wee jinks, and then to see the run that Dessers made as well. Excellent for Matondo for doing that. Dessers, I'm going to give 100% credit as well. I thought it was really intelligent play for the big man. He used his body well. He got his body in between that and the ball, and it made the St Johnstone defender off balance. He kicked the back of Dessers' foot. Dessers then jinks inside the defender, and as you say, the keeper's coming out to meet him. So none of their defenders stopped. The referee made a gesture that it was possibly a foul, but then actually going to the VAR, running it through, speaking to the officials there, I think they came to a right conclusion. It was a perfectly good goal. So well done, Matondo, and well done, Big CD9.
I thought, I've seen it back later on at night, and I thought Levine's comments and the way he was carrying on, I thought it was a bit poor. End of the day,
it was graceful.
At the end of the day, he played the whistle, he didn't blow the whistle, he scored the goal. His centre-back tried to get the ball and his goalkeeper tried to save it, so they were the two that was involved as he went through, and they didn't stop. But no, apart from that, I thought that was that, and I thought it was a good goal. I just waited to see what the verdict was going to be because he gave the foul. And then you're thinking, as he gave a foul, as he gave offside, because they showed to the still. And it was like, I thought they were going to show you the full thing, but they didn't. So, I thought it was a goal, and I think most people, I don't think I've heard much people saying it wasn't a goal, to be honest, apart from Levine moaning about it, Bridgman. After that, we bring on Connor Barron for Kieran Dowell. Got a chance to go in and play in the midfield. I thought he might have played in the 10 instead of Diamonde, Bridgman, but he didn't. He stuck him in beside Sterling.
Yeah, he's a real workhorse, you know, Barron. But going back to the, shall we say, Levine, you know, once again, he comes out with, okay, it wasn't quite a huge tirade, but you just know. See, every time in Scotland now, every single time Rangers score a goal, there's going to be an investigation, and everybody's going to be called cheats and so on and so forth. That's what we're coming to. That's what Scottish football's coming to, particularly with Rangers. There's absolutely no way in this God's earth. I played football all my life, and I tell you now, that was never a foul. Never a foul. Sorry. Now, that manager, Levine, is managed at the top level for Scotland. How can he come out and say that was a foul? How can he say it? He's at the games and he sees it. I'm sorry, it's just utter rubbish. But that's following on. Excuse me. That's following on that nearly everybody will make a case against a Rangers goal, no matter what it is. They shouldn't have done this. Or it was a penalty, or it was this. Every time Rangers do well in a situation and get a goal, somebody's done something wrong. Oh, wait a minute, what about this? Sorry. That's just, that Levine is the king of it now. He's just the king of it. No matter, look, St Johnstone, they're a tidy wee team at times, and they play some nice football, but there's absolutely no way where they're in the same quality as Rangers. Absolutely no way. Nobody could complain. If Rangers had won 8-1, 8-0 last night, nobody would have said anything. Sorry, guys, I'm ranting, sorry.
No, listen, the referee, he obviously thought he seen a foul, but he didn't blow the whistle until the ball went in the back of the net. He played play on, and VAR corrected it and said to him there wasn't a foul, and he's looked at it himself, and he sees that. So at the end of the day, that was that for me. Connor Barron comes on, obviously, for Kieran Dowell, AK, and Kieran Dowell did do a lot of sort of covering for Tav at times, and that. He did a lot of running about, but he wasn't too influential in times when I thought he would have maybe stood out a wee bit more in the midfield. I know it's hard coming in, you're playing beside Sterling, who's not a natural midfielder, but they're trying to link up together. They've never played together really in there, so it's a learning curve again, and Diamonde's playing further forward, which I thought worked at some times and didn't in others, if I'm honest, AK.
Well, it's just down to the gaffer trying to mix up his squad and, you know, try to give game time to everybody who he thinks is going to take him forward. And as you say, that it's just relationships that's getting built up with guys who aren't used to playing with each other and playing different roles within the team. But it's all about the team. It's all about the result. Well, whether we're going to take positives or negatives out of that, that's up to the gaffer. So he likes what he sees with some of them. He'll not like what he sees with others. But I think that when you look at the substitutes that he's made there, you know, like say Dessers coming on, McCausland coming on, Young Barron coming on, that's the influential substitutes he's made there right away, and they proved to be a positive impact for the game. But there was also later on in the second half, though, I didn't see this in Sterling's locker, a brilliant crossfield pass to McCausland onto his toe. That's maybe something that they've been working on there with him as well, Biggie. So that was good to see that side of Sterling.
Pass of the night, that. Pass of the night.
Well, it was. I remember it was. Well, I was sitting with Oxchair, as I said earlier, and we were talking about it because obviously he's advocated for Sterling in the midfield. But I thought at times he he wasn't very good in there, to be honest. But listen, it's about doing a job at the time and just doing, and we're getting the victory at the end of the day. But I thought, obviously, I was happy when Robbie Fraser came on and got a chance. It was a wee bit late in the game, but I thought he'd come on and I thought he didn't put a foot wrong at all. I don't know if you remember it, Bridge, but there's a bit right in front of you, in front of the dugouts when he had the ball in the touchline, and the pass wasn't on to Diamondi down the line, but that's what he was trying to do. He sent it and he just flicked it right out of the player's head, right onto Diamondi, who'd been down the line with the ball. I thought it was brilliant, just the thought to do that, for it to come off and come on. It was certainly clapping at the side of the park to him. It was like a bit of genius, to be honest. If that being somebody like, you'd expect somebody like Gascoigne to do that, do you know what I mean? Just flip it out of the player's head, and that's what he done right into Diamondi. It was absolutely brilliant. Confidence.
That's just a great example of A, reading the game, and B, committing to the game. You know, everyone was there, as you say, he's there. Oh, wait a minute, there's a couple of wee players around here that could get blocked easily. I'll just chip it. And away he went. So I think that's fantastic. And it was wonderful to watch. Just wonderful. Obviously, we need more of that in the game. We need some of our players who have got these kind of skills to be able to show them. Unfortunately, we're under pressure, so maybe the manager doesn't want them to show these things right at this moment until their confidence is hit up a wee bit. So, but I'm looking forward to seeing more of that. Really am.
It's not something I would advocate to see every week, Bridge, but listen, it was improvisation and it was brilliant how it worked. You know, it was the only thing on AK, and he done it perfect. You know, it just showed you the confidence the boy had. But I'm hoping he can get some game time. Ridvan's out, and Yefty and him, hopefully between the two of them, will do a good job until Ridvan gets back. And that's all you're hoping for. But it showed the confidence of the lad, you know. And I was happy to see him get on and get a bit more game time to give him that confidence to start to feel a real part of the first team by getting games.
Aye, well, it's just integrating him into the squad, isn't it, and making the boy feel comfortable. And if he's doing things like that, then that's a sign that he's feeling comfortable in the environment that he's playing in. We spoke about it in Friday night show, and there was a lot of us actually all hoping that a young lad actually started at left back. So even to come onto that the game as late as what he did, but he still put his mark on there to impress the gaffer. The gaffer will like that. And he's definitely got a good future there. I believe they're trying to make a 3-year contract extension for him, so hopefully the young lad has a future when he's shown that level of ability.
Aye, it's about getting chances that we've spoke about on here before, Bridgeman, with the young boys, and he's in that position that he might get afforded more game time than you do if you're a centre half trying to break through at Rangers, and it's harder for the younger boy to break through there, same as Ross McCausland's been put in the wing to try and get game time. And obviously, as we're talking about Ross McCausland, what a finish for the second goal. I'd like to have happened a bit earlier. Somebody have scored a second goal, but I thought it was a composed finish for the wee man when he ran in through the goalkeeper. As soon as he went down, he's just flicked it over him. It's good for him, it's good for his confidence, and it certainly sealed the game for us in the late stages. We'll mute, Bridge.
I'm chatting away to myself there then. No, I love to see players showing, and McCausland at times during the game shows his big difficulty is that there's some monsters in the Scottish League, and they're not going to give him much chance to sort of dance past them, and but he does very well. I think I thought it was a fantastic move all round, and ended up with a really good goal. And that me sort of chip it into the box, into the net. There's not many people who would do that and keep the ball, you know. Some of them sort of crash, you know. But that was fantastic. I really love it. So I ought to say McCausland, the stuff he did there, and what Yefty did with that move, and his runs up the wing and so on and so forth. There's a lot of people in Scotland and it's playing in Scottish football are going to be worried about Yefty when he's attacking.
Aye, definitely. He's got that burst of pace, and I think if we can open up the play sometimes for him, when he's joining in, if he's moving into that inverted fullback position or even going overlapping, he certainly get pace to burn. He is quite skillful. He's not scared to go and commit players, and he's not scared to put the tackle in either, for what I've seen him. So I think it's just about him settling down. He's probably going to get a chance now to play in the left back position, probably in front of Robbie Fraser at the moment.
Aye, well, as I say, that it's bad news for the Yilmaz, but it could be good news for Jefty. He gets the opportunity there and give him more game time wherever the gaffer's willing to play him. If young Robbie Fraser comes in there at left back, he knows that Jefty can do a job further in the team, or he can leave him where he is and they can strike up a balance in the absence of Cortez. Him and Matondo could become our future left wing, and it's taking the jersey off them. But as long as they're producing for us, for the gaffer, for the team, we're getting wins, then that can only augur well for the future for both of them.
That's the thing, it's trying to nail down a settled back four, and then just as the game's carrying on, proper has to come off with maybe a strain or something like that, whatever it was, Bridgeman, and it's just been our luck really. But the gaffer didn't seem too worried about it. He seemed to think he should be all right for next week. If there's any touch and go, I would leave him and keep him for the following week to make sure he's ready. But again, it's no good seeing him coming off early with a slight injury.
No, I think he's very unfortunate. I don't know what it is. I haven't seen anything, whether it's a groin injury or not. Certainly he was pointing to that area, but I really don't know. So maybe you guys have seen some. I certainly haven't seen anything that says anything. So we'll see if it's a day off, whenever it was, and he'll be back at the training centre and they'll get him seen to, I would imagine. If they hadn't got him seen to now. So what can you say? How unlucky are Rangers? I mean, how unlucky are they insofar as getting the players are getting injury prone? And this is guys that have just come into the club injured. I mean, what's happening? So a lot of folk are asking that question. But no, I think a big proper guy he'll be back ready for the game of the weekend.
Listen, I think he looked all right. I think he's settled in. AK, I think he's looked all right. He's been decent in the air, any long balls that were put up to him. He's comfortable with both feet. I think it's just about striking up a partnership, and it looks like it'll probably be with John Suter. I think that's the way it'll go, AK. But just before you answer that, what we'll do is we'll get the phone lines opened, since it is a phone-in show. So hopefully we'll get a few callers in tonight and see what their opinions are. So let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
AK, as I was saying about Proper, I think he's looked all right. I think he looks comfortable. And I think it's just about trying to settle down. I think obviously it would have been Yilmaz, him, probably Suter or Balogun, whoever was fit, but at the moment it's going to be Suter. And Taver, dare I say it, Sterling. I think he's trying to get a bit of continuity, so hopefully it's only going to be a slight strain. And if he's no back this week, as long as he's back the following week, I'd be happy with that.
Aye, well, as you say, it's just a matter of bedding in these guys. We've lost Barisic, we've lost Big Goals in there, so we've got a couple of new guys in the centre back and in the left back position. So it's getting the understanding of the back four as a unit. They've got to. I think the credentials Proper coming in there was 20. He was their captain, he was their leader. I think he's going to be vocal there, so he's going to be our Connor Golson, so to say. But the only kind of question marks out of him now, if he's starting to come off injured and all that, that's not going to be good for him or the team going forward. I hope it's nothing to worry about, but as the Brisbane was saying there, he was pointing his kind of group. Maybe he was saying to Levine, "You're one of them, you."
Very good. Very good. Very good.
Listen, I'm not looking too much into it. He'd done a pre-season and that at PSV. I dare say if we hadn't signed him, we'd have been playing for them in their qualifier against Salzburg. So, listen, strange and that can happen, but it just seems to be, we get a catalogue of them. We're trying to settle a squad down, Bridge. It's hard enough rebuilding a squad. You'd like Raskin to be available or thereabouts to shed the load and come into the team and see if he can add to it. You wanted Cortez fit, try to deliver on the left-hand side. You don't want proper picking up an injury. Danilo, you hoped, would have been back, probably ready to go. So it's unfortunate, but they're there or thereabouts. I'd expect Cortez and Danilo to be kicking on probably after this next 2 weeks are by. By the time we go back to play Dundee United on the 14th, 15th of September, I'd like to think they two, Cortez would be back, Raskin would be back, and Danilo would be raring to go. So there's 3 positives there to look forward to.
Agreed, pal. I'm really looking forward to Danilo getting fit and be more and more. You've got to get more and more minutes, isn't he? So they might have another couple of first halves, and then he'll have a full 60 minutes and 70, and so on and so forth. And depends how he responds to all of that. And as long as nobody kicks the hell out of him, then I think he'll be able to do it. But we've just got to watch, because they don't have kick hell out of Rangers players, that's for sure. No, I'll be very happy if Big Robban has only got a slight knock, or there's nothing wrong with it at all. It was a wee strain, and it's fine. As long as the doctors or whoever, the medical people pass him, I'll be delighted if he can play for the weekend. Delighted.
I think the way we look at it now, AK, if we had these 3 players in the now playing, it would certainly have enhanced the squad a bit stronger. But with the 3 of them being out at the moment, it's where we see the weaknesses coming when you're asking players like Matondo now to step up and get his chance. He's had chances, as we know, but I would have said probably on Saturday it's a good game for what we've seen of him in the last while, and it's down to him, should he be pitch selected for the next game against Ross County, to go out and perform. So because eventually we'll have Cortez back, and we're hoping that we'll add at least maybe 2 players, or we'll like more than that, but realistically, if we could get 2 in and 2 out, first team players, with them coming back as well, it would certainly bolster the squad a bit.
No, you're right there, pal. You're right. We've spoken about it many times, attitude and application. I think that's where everybody's taking a shining light to young Connor Barron, because he's come in there with no attitude, but showing the right attitude, the right application. Other players have came in there, and I don't know what it is with some of them, but it looks as if Barron's just bursting a gut, because this is just him living his dream. This is him playing at the club and on the platform that he wants to be. You know, he's served his apprenticeship in Scottish football with going to Kelty Hearts and then bringing into the Aberdeen team. By the way, let's not forget the Aberdeen team, he wasn't starting every week for them either. You know, he was 2 games in and 3 games out and everything. So the fact that he's hit the ground running and at our club, you know, says a lot about his attitude and what he's willing to do for the team. He looks as if he's put a bit of muscle on as well. And obviously Clement likes what you see. He's chunky, you know, he's physical. Everybody loves to have that kind of dog in the midfield to win the ball back. Players have got to sparkling about them, the creative players in particular, and that's where Matondo is possibly let himself down. Tierney, I think, looks at a spark as well, bringing him in. Cortez, what can you say? It's we almost seen him for 3-4 games or something before he goes down in the park at Rugby Park. And then it's the same at Tynecastle. Only seen him for half a game. They're really, I don't know whether it's the parks round about Scotland are where it's just the actual robustness or the lack of robustness of the players that we're bringing, but we've got to improve in that area because it's no good to the gaffer or these players in the kind of the treatment table rather than on the pitch. The stronger the squad gets, that's what the gaffer wants, competition for places.
Aye, because the bench looks weak, and we predicted on Saturday that the subs that were going to come on first, you know, we thought Dessers will come on, then we thought who was it come on second? I can't even remember now. Kieran Dale come off, McCausland and that coming on, you know. We thought that because we looked at the bench, I didn't think he was going to bring on a Cole McKinnon or anything like that, you know. But aye, it's where we are, and we just need to strengthen the squad, Bridgeman, and we need to try and hopefully we'll do some deals, or maybe even need to put some people out on loan. I don't know what they're going to do, but we need to get a couple of bodies out the door, and that just seems to be our issue. And it's people, clubs have got to want you first, but hopefully we've got 2 weeks to go, or just under 2 weeks, or thereabouts. Hopefully that we'll get a few players moved out and get a bit of freshness. I think it would help us, the support and all, to see some more fresh faces coming in, but they need to be first team starters.
Yeah, my fear is that the players themselves are just going to end up fed up at Rangers. The ones that are being asked to go, and they won't go, and they're just going to sit in the stand or whatever they're going to do. Maybe not even come back. Maybe be told you're on. That's what I would do with them. They're not going to play. You know, they would be garden leave until the end of the contract, because there's nothing Rangers can do. They have to pay the contract out. And unfortunately, we've got a few players there that don't seem to want to leave, irrespective of what's happened. That's what I feel. Now, you can maybe correct me there, you guys. I just feel there's a number of players there that have got absolutely no intentions of leaving Rangers. They're getting top dollars, and they're just going to stay there until the top dollar runs dry, and that's it. Unless Rangers come up and give them some money, flung them away.
Well, it depends. I mean, if you're looking at it, Ben Davis come on. Another one, AK, played with injuries. Whether he's part of Clement's plans or no, you'd think no, because he's brought in Robin Proper and he's playing him on the left-hand side. But there again, he's had to rely on him to come on Saturday and play. I think he's tidy enough player. I think he reads the game quite well. I think he can pass the ball. I think he's physical enough. No. I think he's really good in the air. No. I think he's a tidy player. But again, commands a big wage, and it's somebody that we probably have to get after the wage bill. But clubs have got to want you first, and if you're getting a decent wage, he might not want to move. He might be set. He wants to just stay here, but it's no good for us unless we need to call upon them and we're going to be using them, and maybe that's something that we might have to do if we don't move certain players. Haji, Cantwell, Matondo. Matondo's first team, but Cantwell and Haji out the picture at the moment. When do you need to bring them back in at some point if they don't move?
Aye, well, it's one of them, isn't it? And Brisbane's got every right to bring that up, because there's a lot of question marks our other future. We don't know where they're lying, but it doesn't augur well when it's getting this close to the end of the window and they're still in the building, as Clement would say. I think he had honest conversations with him probably June-ish time to say, listen, you've not got a future here, try and get your agent to move you to another club. I think the problem is that Bridgeman said there, that the wages that are on, the length of contract that they're on, and the clubs that are coming in aren't willing to match the wage that they're currently on, and that's where we've got a major problem, because Clement's already told us we can't get any players out until we get players in. Can't get any players in until we get players out. You just need to look at the quickness of getting goals in it. We had Proper in the next day, so it's as soon as we can get a deal for these sort of players. But if they're not willing to move, he's stuck with it, and we just need to get on with it. So then I think he's got to have a conversation with Haji, we can't. Well, with Scott Wright, with Matondo, with Ben Davies to say, right, come on, we've no choice now but to go forward again. We need to come to some sort of resolution. Best for the club, best for you, and best to go forward.
I mean, obviously, he's alluded players were dealt, right? But that aside, Ben Davies is a costly, probably squad player. But his cover, Balogun's probably the cheaper option, but he's now been out injured. Bridgeman. We've got Leon King still sitting there, who I think the boys should really go and go out and loan. But then again, if Balogun or Suter goes out with an injury long term, he'd be the only cover that we'd have in that position as well. But I think for the boys' sake, Leon King, I think he should probably go out and loan, because he's sat here for another 2 years since the last time he played under Gio and that, and get flung in the Champions League, and he's not really had much game time at all. I mean, how we might develop the boy, you know?
Yeah, I think that Leon King, no disrespect to any of the players, I would just classify as Leon King as the same as the other guys that really don't want to play for Rangers, but they've got the salary and a good contract, and they're going to stay until that contract's met, one way or the other. That's what I believe. Now, when I say one way or the other, I mean somebody signs them, right? Comes in and gets transfers out, or indeed Rangers pay them off and buy up the rest of their contract and give them the money. Somewhere along the line, these guys have got to go, or Rangers are going to have to stump up, go and buy new players, and these guys just sit somewhere else. That's the only way they can do it. I don't see any other way. I'm kind of thick when it comes to these decisions and how they operate it. Personally, I'm quite strict when it comes to this. Anybody that doesn't want to play for Rangers shouldn't be there in any way, shape or form. If they don't want to play, not there. Bye-bye. No matter what happens, even if we have to play reserve players, just let them out. Go away. Because there's no point in them being in the training area. There's no much part in taking part in friendly games. There's no much point in it, because they ain't going to give anything. In my opinion, they're not going to give in, and Rangers are only going to end out of it. So somewhere along the line, the board or whomever's got to come up with some cash and pay them off.
I think if you look at it, AK, you've got Balogun and Suter probably fighting for the left, and let's be honest, you'll have proper starting majority of the games since we've signed them for that position. And at the moment, you've got Ben Davies in his cover. So as much as we'd like to see a defender come in, and if we did, I'd probably prefer it to be a right-sided central defender and then make Suter fight for his place. But if you look at it, we've probably got it covered, and that might be where we might have to go to the end of the season, well, until the next transfer window.
Oh, you're right, but I think Balogun could actually play left or right. Probably, I think he's more comfortable on the right-hand side.
Aye, I'm just using it as an example, you know.
Aye, listen, it's not the ideal position, and I'm with Bridgeman as well. If a player's coming to the manager and say, listen, I don't want to be here, I don't want to play for you, I don't want to play for this club, his feet wouldn't touch the ground under previous managers. But because of the financial constraints and everything, and we can't get rid of these players, then he's in the building. I mean, I'll give Haji his credit a wee bit. He's playing with the B team under instruction for the manager. He's knowing the petty lip the way Cantwell's doing, that the new Cantwell's no featuring at all for the B team. So I don't know what the situation is there, but he's still getting a hefty wage both for the club. But at least Haji's still doing what he's instructed to do. You've got Alex Lowry playing away there today, Divine and that as well. So you've got the guys still on a contract, but you're right in what you say with like say King. When you're getting the lack of game time that these had for getting an introduction into the first team, albeit under duress because of the selection dilemma Gio had at the time, you really should be reconsidering your future. I mean, young McCrory, the goalkeeper, stuck about for far too long, and he's now getting first team game action at Kilmarnock. Lewis Mayo done the same. You've got to admire young boys who have belief in their own ability, but don't kill your career. If we can't develop you, then just go elsewhere. and make a good career. I think the young boy Doherty that was in our midfield a few years ago, he's made a career for himself down in England somewhere now. I think he's captain of Swindon or something like that. So, no, good luck to the boys if they decide to do that. But what's killing our club now is these high earners no going anywhere. But who's to blame there? The guys who gave them the contract, the recruitment. But it's killing Clement, and he can't get the players in who he would like to come in, his sort of players. That's the problem with Clement's scope, where he can't trust the likes of Canwell or Haji, bringing in Ben Davies. But that's where I think Clement's already under a bit of scrutiny. Is that the right decision where he's came about already, or how do we go forward? And there've got to be resolutions, but all comes up to that end of the transfer window, which is going to be happening long term.
Happens with all players. Sometimes they get told they're not going to be part of the plans, and then sometimes through necessity you might be asked, or you might be a change of mind between the player and the manager over a period of time, depending on which took place. But I feel sorry for Leon King a day, because he's earmarked for a position at centre back, where it's probably one of the hardest positions to get playing regular. I mean, Scott Wilson's about the last one I remember. Danny Wilson, sort of coming through and getting a game, but through necessity, Scott Wilson get flung in. But it's a hard place to get a regular game, Bridgeman, and I just feel sorry for the boy. I'd rather he probably went away. I know he probably would not want to, because he's a Rangers supporter, and he might hope he might break in somewhere, but probably for his career, he'd probably as well gone away somewhere, getting regular team football, hopefully being the player that he could be. And then you never know, there might be a chance where he comes back to Rangers in the future. But just to go out and see him play, because he's really had lack of games. In the B games, he's been part of it sometimes, but now he's part of the first team squad. I know he will feature in the B games. He did during the week, but last week. But he needs first team football. He needs to go and play, the boy.
You know what he needs if he's going to stay. Obviously, he's going to be hugely lucky if it happens, but he needs to be on the park when something happens on the park and he finds himself in a very favourable position that suits him, suits his style of play. You know what I mean? He maybe falls into, just for saying sake, the number 6, the number 6 role. If he falls into that and away it goes, or if he goes up the park a wee bit and falls into number 10, and all of a sudden you see that boy actually playing football that he likes to play, and it really cheers him up and he loves it. And that's what's probably needed for him. Other than that, he's going to come on as a substitute and he's going to make wee mistakes here and there, and everybody's going to say, oh no, that boy's rubbish, And that's the truth. That's what will happen to him. And I do believe sincerely he should be gone. He should be gone. Now, I think that's a sad indictment of our club and the players and their relationships. That boy should have been, shall we say, egged on to go and find another team. Go and find another team somewhere, son. So, but he's probably on really, really good money. So he's looking for a club to take him up with the same wages, even though he's still a youngster. Very difficult, very difficult. So I wish him well. I seriously wish him well. And I hope he does play for Rangers and he is very successful. But I doubt it very, very much that he's going to make it.
I just think it's a fact that as a support, AK, as soon as Connor Golson was going out the door, we were saying, right, we need to get somebody in, nobody saying, well, let's give Leon a chance at centre back on the right hand side of your defence. He's a young boy, deserves a chance, It's too big an ask at this time, and the needs that we need to get proper defenders that we trust. That's probably what it comes down to. The manager can trust, because he's probably known them before or seen them playing more regular football. If you had them, we're just going to go to the tune. I think, mate, we can catch it in the second half. I think that's what's going to happen. I think we're just going to go to the tune. So if you two guys would like to get yourselves on mute, we can take this in the second half.
As we go marching marching down the Paisley Road west, the doors and the windows open wide. You will hear the people cheer, the Glasgow Rangers boys are here. It's Glasgow Rangers for me. Blue is the colour, football is the game. We're all together, Glasgow Rangers is our name. For we are the best team in all Scotland, and Glasgow Rangers is our name. So bring on the Celtic, your Hibs and Aberdeen, your Dundee United, we're the best you've ever seen. We play hand on heart, God save the Queen. It's Glasgow Rangers for me. As we go marching down the Paisley Road west, the doors and the windows open wide. You will hear the people cheer, the Glasgow Rangers boys are here. It's Glasgow Rangers for me. Blue is the colour, football is the game. We're all together, Glasgow Rangers is our name. For we are the best team in all Scotland, and Glasgow Rangers is our name. So bring on the Celtic, your Hibs and Aberdeen, your Dundee United, we're the best you've ever seen. We play hand on heart, God save the Queen. It's Glasgow Rangers for me. It's Glasgow Rangers for me. It's Glasgow Rangers for me.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Aye, hopefully it'll not be long. We're marching back down the streets of Paisley Road West and that Somerville Drive, man. It's just not the same, Bridge, man, is it? Not the same, AK.
No, it isn't, pal. It isn't. It's... Who was it described? I think it was Clement that said that it just looks as if you're in a rental home just now, and it just doesn't feel the same. And I think the whole support feels like that. The players are definitely feel like that. Big Stevie spoke about it. He's got his own wee kind of things that he does, you know, just a tradition sort of. When he goes to see his mum and dad's brag, and he goes to get his burgers in a certain van, goes for a pint, meets up with his pals. He can't. It's all up in the air now. Thankfully, we're getting some sort of results, but I don't think we'll ever be comfortable playing there, either the team or the support.
Nah, it's certainly not the same. I know they had to do it for logistical reasons and that with what happened, and it was the easiest place to get to, and I did say on here a while ago, we just need to go on with it. And we do, to be honest, but it's horrible. I just don't like it. And I've moved my seat, although I've got my seat for the league game. I bought different seats for the Cup and the European games just to move about Hampden a bit. But nah, it's not the same, and just Everton AK, even leaving earlier than you have to and all that. You can't go to your usual boozer. And Rangers are losing it, to be honest, with Edmondson House and that. You mean, it's all right sticking a caravan up there, Bridgeman, to sell merchandise, but it's no the same as when you're tripping down to Ibrox and people want to go into Edmondson House and will go into the shop and buy some stuff as they usually do. The van outside Hampden isn't really cutting the mustard.
No, I think it's... can I be quite frank with you, and I hope everybody listening in hears what I'm saying. This is possibly the second, maybe the third worst thing that's ever happened to Rangers. And I'm not being funny when I say that. And certainly in my time, you know, really a horrendous it is. A terrible decision. They could have, you know, we used to talk about it when when somebody said we're going to lose to Ibrox, well, listen, we'll move down to Bury. People remember Bury was up for sale at the time. Buy them and, all that nonsense. We should never be playing at Hampden. Never, ever, ever. A dreadful decision. Absolutely shocking decision. I'm afraid that's my opinion, right? So, anybody disagrees, I'm sorry. You can fight. It's free to disagree. I just don't think Rangers should ever, ever have ended up in this situation. It really is. And it could be the ruination of our season. Easily the ruination of our season. So every game's going to be absolutely massive. If it's not always that massive, it's going to be even more massive because we don't have a home. We don't have a home place. We can't. Rangers fans can't say Hampden's their home. It's for second home. No, sorry. Hampden is just Hampden. And everybody's calling it Ham Dump. Has been doing it for a while. And that's just what it is to us. It's okay for cup games. We understand all that. That's stuck in your mind. And that's the way the game's played in the finals at Hampden because that's our national stadium. And we accept all that. But no for Rangers to play in it every week. No, sorry. Or every other week, should I say. Sorry, guys.
I don't think the kick-off time didn't suit either, AK. If we're honest, it didn't suit 5:45 for live on the telly. And there is a lot of people. I've got a pal who stays closer to Hampden than he does to Ibrox, and he ain't sent the fit in Hampden until we get back to Ibrox. He's been consistent on that. He doesn't even go to semi-finals with Rangers or finals because he'll just not want to get near Hampden. And that's how he feels, mate,
Aye, listen, he's entitled to feel that way as Bridgeman, as any other season ticket holder that's choosing not to go to the games. It's their decision. It's no helping the team, right enough, but it is they've paid their money and they're entitled to make that decision. Contributing factors, as you say, with the low crowd that we had at the weekend, the time, people were just fed up with going to Hampden already and just fed up with the club in general. But the club, the playing side, the Clermont, the players, they have to go on with it. They've got an obligation to go on with it to satisfy their fixtures. Aye, it's no ideal, far from ideal. But what was the proposals? We were looking at Murrayfield, and then you've got the guys coming there for Northern Ireland potentially missing their boats. They were even considering going down to England. Believe it or not, and I think that they've been even worse. So to satisfy the season ticket holders, the amount of season tickets holders that we had, I think Hampden was their one and only option. And as you say, Southside, we just have to go on with it. We don't like it, but we've got to satisfy our fixtures.
Aye, listen, it holds what we needed for the season ticket holders and that. And it is there, hopefully. Actually, talking about Hampden, we were sitting at Hampden on Saturday, and Oxchair got to meet his hero. So he did.
Who's that?
I could give you, no guesses, no. First team Rangers player.
Oh boy.
Haji?
No. I was going to say he was out injured.
Did they hug?
Hug? Oh, they get their photo took and everything. He actually shouted out to Oxchair. He actually shouted out Oxchair, and I'm looking at him and I'm saying, here, look.
Oh my God.
He went all blushing and all. I said, look, there's Scott. There's Scott Wright shouting like you. So after about four vodkas and 2 dream teams, he decided to go out and get his photo took and get a wee blather and that. So I think they've become best of buddies. I was struggling to get him back to the seat, if the truth be known.
Oh my God almighty. That's shocking.
Did Scott Wright get his autograph?
I don't know what was going on, man. But anyway, we got him back and that, so I don't know, maybe we'll talk more favourable about him when he comes back, but aye, best of buddies on Saturday, Bridgeman, couldn't believe it.
Who had the best gear?
Who had the best gear?
Hair.
Hair? Oh, well, Scott Wright, obviously, didn't he? You've seen the state of him, haven't you? Oxchair, hairdo. Come on.
That's shocking, by the way.
But I was well turned out, I'll give him that. immaculate looking, so he was.
Yorkshire?
No, Scott Wright,
Oh, right.
obviously.
Oh, yeah, it's
Aye.
always the same. Always the same.
Aye, I met him in Sunday. We had he took us for lunch with Albert. There was a couple other invites out, but there was a couple of casualties. But managed to get Albert home safe. But I heard he didn't get into 3 in the morning.
Why?
So
Where was he?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh,
But it was it this morning. He was well hungover, believe me. So I don't know. I think he was trying to get in the dancing up and party.
oh no. Oh no. You've got to
Too many
wonder why.
Well, he did have 4 dream teams. I know that. He did certainly have 4 of them the last time I left him.
Dream team, I love it.
So,
I love it.
that'll be that. So, I think that was it. But report was it was 3 in the morning. He got in disgusting behaviour.
So was your big mucker? Your big mucker for the Northwest with you the weekend?
No. Unfortunately, he was comatose. He couldn't make it. He couldn't make it.
I love it.
So unfortunately, the big one missed it. Scott Wright did say to me, prepares listening to Michael Stewart and listening to Oxford. I did get that bit. So I take it he was listening to the show from time to time. Anyway, but that was Saturday. So he certainly got a photo in that, and I'm sure you'll hear all about it when he comes back. Anyway, I've lost the plot now, where were we? The steel arrived, Aye, Kay, the steel's arrived. So we're getting to work.
Good
Right?
news.
Has it definitely arrived?
Steel's arrived, mate.
Come
And
today.
they're getting the work's going to be getting done, get that started. So hopefully it's looking positive. We can get that finished, get that crane off the park, and then it's just about getting the grass sorted out for us getting back. So I'd like to think the work will be done for the end of the month, and then we'll probably go it a couple of weeks. We'll get 4 weeks to hopefully get it back, and if we can't make the Hibs game, then hopefully we'll make it back in the first fixture back after October. AK.
That's great news, Southside. That's great news. I'm really glad to hear that. The sooner we get back to Ibrox, the better for everybody.
Oh, it'll be heavenly. Heavenly.
But-
Get back to my seat.
Yep.
Oh, jeez.
You'll be looking forward to that, Bridge.
Oh, unbelievable. Just unbelievable. I mean, what's happening to us is utter mince. Utter mince. Sorry, I'm not starting again.
Well, put it this way, see, we've got to remember, right, it was done with good intentions, for good intentions, and that's the thing that we've got to remember. Aye, it's been delayed, and aye, it's put us into this position. Listen, if we can go to that ham dump up there, but if this is your last league game going forward on Saturday and one more cup tie, then I'd be happy with that, and then we can get out of there. And if we have to play Hibs there, fair enough. But listen, I'm sure it'll be all systems go for now on, and hopefully everything will be resolved, and we can get back to Ibrox, because that's exactly where we want to be. It's so different for going. Aye, you don't mind an away trip and all that. We get that. We go to away grounds, but when it's your home fixture, and even the European night, it felt like a friendly, AK. If I'm honest now, just turning up and just watching a friendly.
Aye, well, talking about the cup tie as well. Rangers got through home to Dundee quarter final. So I would say that was a good draw for us. Obviously, probably still going to be Hampden, as you say, but if we can make a semi-final, that's us back at our home ground again then.
Yeah, I think it's maybe for the European thing as well. I don't know when we start playing that, but I don't know what the rules are. I don't know if you start, you need to finish there or whatever. I don't know, but I'd like to think, first and foremost, we went back for the league games. We need to be back at Ibrox, Bridgeman, because the new players need to settle in there, and the support will turn up more in their numbers, and it's louder. You're closer to the pitch. You've got a feel-good factor being at Ibrox at home. Everything just feels comfortable there, and that's what we want. And the players, you want to generate that atmosphere for the players.
100%. That's what you want. That's our stadium, and that's my team, and I want my team playing in our stadium. we fought hard and long to get Rangers into that stadium with a half-decent team. And unfortunately, this last 6 months, it's been maybe less than 6 months, but it's been a bit tough for us. Some of our sort of steadfast players have left of their own volition, like, you know, and others, their contract was out and the way they went. So we had depended on them, I dare say. And I have to say, even though we might not have liked them, they did do well for Rangers, most of them. And I think that's what we're missing at the moment. That experience, we just haven't quite got that leap for experienced players. But these boys, another month, if they're getting games, another month, and a lot of these boys that are playing now will become better players, and they'll start to show it. I believe that sincerely.
Aye. I thought maybe earlier on it might have been longer, AK, but no, it looks like it might be sooner than we think. I was going to ask you something actually when we're just talking about Hampden there. What did you think of the players going behind the goal to the support that was left? Well, mostly Union Bears was in there, so a lot of people had left the stadium before the final whistle. But do you think it was, people said, cringeworthy, or do you think it was just go and show your appreciation?
Thanks for a nice, wee, easy one, Bill.
Well, thought I'd start with you first.
I've read a lot on different Rangers pages and social media, and it's definitely divided. I can see the reason for it, and I think it's being a European thing with come on. He's trying to show a bit of unity there with the team and thanking the support for being, particularly the Union Bears, for being as vocal as what they've been and getting behind the team to support the team. But personally, when I see that sort of thing, I do think it looks a wee bit cringe, in my personal opinion. We should only be celebrating with our support after we win trophies and things like that. Aye, you can acknowledge them and aye, you can appreciate them, but jumping about like that, it's probably no your thing. But that's just my personal thought. Oh, by the way, see before I kick on, you mentioned the European. Keep your eye on Barcelona, because they're playing away for the Nou Camp and in their qualifiers. See if UEFA allow them back in the Nou Camp, that allows us back into Ibrox.
Aye, I remembered hearing about that a while back. Aye, I think they're pushing to get back into the Nou Camp, isn't they? I'm afraid to say that to anything. I could go either way. It won't make a great deal of difference to our mob. I just don't see it. Barcelona and Real Madrid are the chosen teams, two of the biggest chosen teams in Europe, and they will get whatever's going from an authoritative perspective. They'll get it because the clubs Europe needs them. That's the way I feel. Don't need. They make decisions to suit everybody else, you know. Don't make decisions. Look, that decision against our boy getting sent off, Herty getting sent off, a disgraceful decision. Even the foul, first one, disgraceful. The guy ends up getting a bullet. But no, Rangers are getting nothing out of it. Nah, they make their own rules. So I wouldn't be surprised if Barcelona do get let back into their own team and nothing's said about it. That's what I would. Well, it could work that way, but I think if they open the door, then the door will be open. But hopefully we'll see as time goes on. What did you think, Bridgie, the players going out to support and thank them? Let's be honest, if it wasn't for the UB inside Hampden or Ibrox a lot of times, then there would be no atmosphere, let's be honest.
I think I thought that was a really good thing that the players done. I don't know if that's what they really wanted. I'm not dead sure what they wanted to do, but I'm all for the players after the game going over to the crowd and applauding them. I think that's magic, you know. And I think it makes the players, shall we say, respect the fans and vice versa. And unfortunately for a lot of the fans or a lot of the players even, Ibrox empties very quickly after a game. So even if they played really well, there's maybe only half a stadium by the time they sort of walk around and applaud. But I liked that the other night. It said something. It said something for the dressing room, and it said something for the manager. I thought it was good.
Listen, I don't have a problem with it. I think most of the time they should applaud the support, especially away from him. At Ibrox, sometimes if a performance hasn't been good, sometimes in the past, AK, it's good just to get off the park, as we've seen for last season before and stuff. It's happened at Ibrox. Listen, there's players being booed for making mistakes and stuff. So, but I just think there's times to do it, and I thought on Saturday it wasn't an issue with me. They were singing Desser's name and all that, and they sort of pushed him forward to clap with supporters and might have danced about a wee bit at a certain song. End of the day, they're just showing appreciation. It's harder probably to get near them than it is at Ibrox, when they could walk down to the corner, or next season they'll be going behind the Copeland stand. So to me, I just thought it was a nice touch for them actually to do it. I didn't see a problem with it, AK. So better date next week on Saturday after they beat Ross County. I don't care. As long they'll probably get down and clap with supporters. Might not jump out and stone like they did, but they'll still show appreciation.
Mm-hmm. No, listen, I get that. It's all up to individuals. As I say, that I see the likes of Dortmund dating Germany on a virtual a weekly basis. Every time they have a home game, they go up to the yellow wall and they show their appreciation to their fans that way. I think Jurgen Klopp brought that to Liverpool. I just think it's more a European thing. I think the fans would enjoy it. I think the players would enjoy it, and it shows a wee bit of strength of unity that the team that Clement's trying to express to the team, and the support that everybody's together, because we need to be together if we want to achieve any sort of level of success this year. So I don't have a problem with it that way, but I would rather see it done when we've got a trophy in front of us, when we did last year and with Barisic, with the flag and everything. I thought that was excellent. But the more times we do that with a trophy in front of us, I think it would be received better for the support in general.
Don't let anyone run about with a UB flag again. Borner get collared. Mr. Have Clyde's finest for that one. I don't know what the problem was, to be honest. He was only waving a flag about behind the goal in your own end, you know. But aye. Well, see, as we move on, we're looking at our midfield, right? We've got Diamondi, we've got Barron, we've got Sterling as an auxiliary. We're hoping to get Raskin back, and we've got Tom Lawrence. That seems to be the base here, excluding the young boys at the moment. You could add Cole McKinnon in there, but that's the base of our midfield at the moment. Would you agree, AK? So I think it's time that we probably, if we're going to try and get a signing in, I think we need to get a signing in that midfield. I think we need to bolster that if we can straight away.
Well, I think you could be looking at numerous areas of the team. I think creativity. We miss Steve Davis, and they're a guy that's the sort of experience to put his foot in the ball and you know, to see that pass, a through pass. Lundstrom didn't really bring that element to the game. I think we've got raw talent there with Barron and Sterling in there. Diamondi is yet to show that level, but it's a difficult area of the team. That should really be where your invention comes from, but we don't seem to have that sort of player. I think the boys for Seville that Clement tried to get in, he was maybe going to be that jigsaw puzzle for him, but unless we move players out, we can't get anybody in, and that's a sad matter where we are now.
Bridgeman, that's the base of what we've got now in the midfield. Obviously, we're hoping we'll get Raskin back quickly to put a bit of, see if he can get in the team, or see if he can challenge and make sure that the players that have got the jersey are performing, because we've got somebody that's looking to come in, but between him and Lawrence, Sterling as an auxiliary in the midfield, it's probably imperative that we either get a really good number 10 that can do the job, or a good number 6. I know we probably need a striker and all, but I don't know. I'll talk about strikers later. But the midfield, that's what we've got. Kieran Dowell, forgot about him. Adding him in and all. we need to strengthen. We really need to get a proper 10 or a proper 6 in there. We really do, I think.
I don't disagree with that. I think you're absolutely right. But I'm afraid I quite like Kieran Dow, but he didn't really do a lot of folk thought he could do or would do or even should do on the park. So I'm not saying he wasn't really ranked rotten, but it wasn't great. Let's put it that way. And I don't want to criticise him too much because he's lacking confidence sometimes. But he is a quality. He appears to be a quality player, but we're still waiting to see that quality on a consistent basis. That's what I think of that one. And yes, we desperately need you. Look at our midfield, and they get torn apart sometimes when teams come break away. The midfield players, they go up and they can't pass, or their pass is too late. Or it's miles off, or in a stupid way. Or one of their midfielders picks up a bad pass and they just run straight through our midfield and straight pile on right on top of the defence. And that's what we need to stop. We need to stop that flood of pressure coming forward, and we need to watch what we're doing. We're midfield, when they're up the park, they can't all be up the park. Let's put it that way. I know we want to be there, but we have to press up there ourselves and be as a team getting up there. And when you're up there, you can take advantage. But no, when you're just pumping the ball up or something like that, and all of a sudden somebody's got the ball and they make a break and lose the ball, and then they break, and so on and so forth. And then the man that's got the ball or lost the ball, he's a main midfield player and one of the mainstays. And before you know it, as I say, they're charging up on top of you, right over the top of you even. So I think we need to get players the players we've got. They need to be shown how they should be playing in the styles that the manager wants, because some of the styles he puts out now isn't quite there. For me, isn't quite there, because we've got some really good players, and we really want to see them doing it. Big Sterling hasn't shown this last couple of games. He hasn't shown, but he's a smashing player. We know it. So where are they going to play him? Find a spot in the midfield for him, and let him play. That's what I would say. Don't know where, because they see him better than I do.
I think the fact that sometimes it looks a bit disjointed is because he's having to change it. When he's keeping Diamondi and Barron there, he's trying to get them to link up, and get an understanding together in the midfield. We've got to try and get at least two in there that's going to play most weeks for him, and they'll be the engine. And it seems to be it's going to be Barron and Diamondi when he's playing the formation, the 4-2-3. So I'm just looking at the midfield options, and that's all we seem to have. So we're going to have to hope that we can get rid of one or two players, or somebody wants them, and we'll get somebody in before the end of the transfer window, because it'll not be enough, I think, going forward. We'll get by in some games, obviously, but we need to try and bolster in there, I think, going forward. We really need, if we can, before the transfer window shuts. And then I'll come to Bob Jer once you answer.
No, you're right. It's a dilemma that he needs to sort out, but if we don't get anybody in and we're still not playing great, I think he either needs to go back to Canwell and Haji and resolve that situation to get our 10 in there, or he has to prove he's adaptable to change his formation to suit the personnel that he's got. Go 4-4-2 or 4-3-3 or do something, because what we're watching now isn't pretty in the eye. So something nice needs to change, but good to see Bob Jer in there.
How you doing, Bob Jer?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing all right?
How are you, Bob Jer? Good, you good,
mate.
Bob Jer.
Hello, Brad. How you doing?
All right, pal. Thanks. All right.
Nice to hear from you, pal. Were you all quite happy with the win on Saturday, yeah? I thought they could have scored about 8 or 9. That's being honest with you.
I thought first half, Bob, we could have been up 3 or 4 in the first half.
Oh, we could have been up 3 or 4, because I love shoving it in that Levinian. He's another one. That sounded rhythmic, Levinian.
He's a hater, isn't he? He's a hater.
Oh, you never got a good word to say about us. I should go for a drink with Michael Stewart, like you. But yeah, I think we've unearthed a really good in here in this Hertie. He's a good player, laddie. I thought he played well on Saturday. And this Barton's going to be a good player for us. So, quite happy to be in the next round of the Cup. But it's the looming end of the transfer window that's worrying us all, to see who we can get out and see who we can get in to improve the squad. Because we do need to improve. I don't think we're going to win it. Well, I wouldn't say win anything, but I don't think we're going to win the league with that squad. And you're right in what you say, resolve the situation with Canwell and Haji, because they're two good players and they could really be an asset to the squad if their heads were turned. They didn't realise who they're playing for and what they're playing for, they two. I don't know what's going on with them. I didn't talk to them day to day, obviously. But they need to get their heads turned and realise they're playing for one of the greatest clubs in the world. It's a pure privilege for them to get it sorted out and get knuckled down and get working and try and bring success. I think that's a fair comment, lads.
Well, like you answer that, I think it's two different situations with Cantwell and Haji. I think if the rumour's true that we might have to pay him an extra $6,000 a week, then that could get you a player if he plays one more game, I believe. But at the same time, if you're no going, if you can't bring a player in, then do you try and resolve it with him? Cantwell, AK, knows what it is. He knows what it's like to play for Rangers. He's been there. He's played it. He played under Beale. He's played under Clement. He wanted to leave, so that's a different situation. Haji's back playing under instruction for the B team, but I don't know. I mean, I'll let AK answer it and see his thoughts first.
No, we kind of touched it anyway. Evening, Bob. Yourself. Good to have you.
Hi, AK.
Yeah, you're right enough. For what we've heard, the Rangers Review picked up on it last week. I don't know if there's truth behind it, but he's on 99 games, seemingly, Haji. And if he makes 100 appearances for Rangers, his wage goes from $22,000 a week to $30,000 a week. So you're looking at £500,000 there, an increase for him, you know. So I think that's a pure financial decision. Haji's, you know, he's been professional about it. He's playing with the B team, but I think he's been orchestrating a move personally. I think for Gerrard left the club. That's how long this has been on. I know he had a serious injury. I know he went to Alaves last year as well for a spell, but he didn't really feature under them. He's played with Romania in the Euros. Done all right. I wouldn't say he did an outstanding tournament, but he was there. So he is an asset for us. I'm just wondering why none of the clubs is coming in for him. It must be the wage that's holding some clubs back for getting him. But he was a Gerrard signing, so we've now Gerrard, then Gio, then Bale, and now Clement. So he's no his player, so you can understand Clement no want him to be there as part of the future. Cantwell's different, as you say. I think he had troubles with his attitude at Norwich. He proved himself as a decent player, you know, but his attitude and his antics with social media and all that, Norwich didn't like what they were seeing, and I don't blame them. He came into Rangers, Beale got him in as a free transfer, and he hit the ground running with us, and you got to give him credit that way. I thought he was really good, but then we see him left out the first game of the season against Kilmarnock last year, and people are starting to wonder why. Now we're knowing why. He's a troublesome character in the dressing room, and I don't think Clement likes that in his team, so it's totally different situations there. But if we can't move them on, then I think we've got to have a sit-down meeting and put your big boy pants on and do what best is for the future for Clement and for them as individuals as well.
Aye, well, I would agree with all that, yeah, absolutely. And again, we all can Rangers are a club that's hemorrhaging money, and we can't afford to hemorrhage much more. So, Mr. Haji, Mr. Cantwell, get it sorted out. As I said, you've got the privilege of being in the squad of one of the greatest clubs in the world. Screw the nut, you're young boys. Screw the nut, get the bits on, get playing again. That's all I can say in it. I'm not technical, man. I just want to see what's the best for Glasgow Rangers. And if they didn't feel they want to be part of it, well, out the door. That's it. Too many financial mistakes. Haji's yet another year. I get angry. You can probably tell.
I think. In fairness, I think if he hadn't got his injury, Haji had actually contributed quite well. I think Haji's done more in the Rangers jersey, Bridgeman, but Cantwell and Lawrence have put together, if I'm perfectly honest.
That's the words, pal, together. Haji's done a really good job for Rangers at times, you know. He scored a lot of really good goals, very important goals, and got us through to European areas, you know, smashing stuff. And he's been by the way, he's never been a great hero to people, but he's been a really good player for Rangers. But serious injuries, and once you get these injuries, and you're talking about over a year or round about a year, that's a long time to be out of football. Even although you trained and worked hard, see the way he's playing now. And I know he's playing in the B team, or he's played in the B team a couple of times. I would certainly put him in the team, but he needs to realise that either he wants to go or he doesn't want to go. If he doesn't want to go, then he's playing. If he wants to go, bye. Simple as that. It's the same with Cantwell. I said it earlier. As far as I'm concerned, if they don't want to play for Rangers, bye. You need to go. Get them out the door, no matter what it is. Find the finance. Say you're on gardening leave, your wages will be in the post, and that's it. Get them out of the way because they're only influencing people badly.
Well, I don't know the background yet, to be honest, what goes on in the scenes, but it looks like the manager is prepared to probably get rid of the two of them should it happen. And that's where we'll probably need to replace, because on their day in the past, Haji and Cantwell have done all right, but you know their qualities. But when you're looking at Tom Lawrence in there, and then him coming out, Diamandi, I didn't think looked too comfortable in that thing. I think you need to stick him beside Barron going forward. So for me, I don't see him playing very much as a 10. In my eyes, AK, I think the two are going to be the workhorses in the midfield. So we need to look at the midfield. Alex Lowry's is another one who, again, comes down to work rate for me. I'll not even use the word question his attitude, because he's had that labelled at him and he's defended it. So what I'll just say is, in games, what I've seen him, his work rate has to step up when he's in the first team, AK, because he has got quality. But it's work rate for me. He'll have to improve. I'll not use the word attitude. I'll give him benefit of the doubt going forward. So work rate, definitely he's lacked at times, or it looks like it in his body language.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right. You've just got to kind of back the manager and trust come on this for me. He's got to have discipline in that dressing room, and if he feels that somebody is having an adverse attitude on the rest of the team, then it's going to affect the rest of the team. He needs to trust the players that's out in the park to carry out his instructions. It wasn't long in his tenure when he was hooking Cantwell at half time because he wasn't doing what he was told, in stretching the opposition. He kept drifting inside. I see the likes of Jack Grealish at Man City, and he was basically your maverick at Aston Villa. He was their best player, and they gave him the ball as much as they could, but he couldn't do that role for Man City, and he didn't really last a lot of games under Guardiola until he actually learned about his position and his role within the team. If players are no carrying out the instructions that the manager's telling you, then you become a liability in the team. Tavernier's been that guy, maverick if you want, but his contribution going forward was excellent. But he was also leaving a lot of space in behind him, so other players have got to cover that, and that's where it causes faults in the team all over the park. So it's really down to come on. It's down to the club. It could be a financial decision, as we say, because if we're struggling to get rid of Haji on 22 grand a week, and now if he's bumped up to 30 grand a week, then it's less likely that a club is going to come in for him with that increased wage as well. It's just another quandary, another dark alley that Clement and the club could do with it.
Aye, it's what we're left with at the moment. So that's like we've got in the midfield. And if we look at the strikers, I mean, but as we spoke about earlier, Danilo, Bob, you're right, he looked no bad for the 45 minutes for 7 months out. The last time I seen him was Birmingham away. So you're hoping over the next month he'll be back, probably, hopefully ready to go with more game time, wee cameo roles or whatever. Obviously, Cortez, I'm hoping he'll be back. We're going to be left at the moment. We've got Scott Wright and Matondo. We've got Czerny. So, and Ignaman, which he seems to be building up to going to feature at some point. So it'll be interesting to see, are we going to really add to the firepower? Because unless one of our strikers goes, I love Lacey talked would be pushing into that squad as well for competition. But that looks like if nothing happens, that's what we've got going forward.
Well, I think the common denominator with us is these damned injuries, never-ending trail of injuries. Never got a game on Saturday, and the Dutch laddie, he goes down injured. Every single game, somebody seems to get a serious sort of, I don't know, I'm getting angry here, guys. I really forgive me. My blood took my blood pressure tablets for 2 days because I've been too lazy to go to the chemist. Anyway, like you're saying about the squad's decent enough when everybody's fit. As you just rhymed off all the players, and the squad is decent enough when everybody's fit. It's getting everybody fit. That's the frustrating aspect of it all. You're talking about Danilo there. He's ages off it. Yeah. You've seen that on Saturday. I mean, he chose to play him on Saturday. The boy's got to get a run out sometime. He's been out for 8 months. But no, I think we're going to have to go with Dessers. It's as simple as that in the meantime. But Dessers can't do it all himself. We'll need to get somebody in for to give Dessers a dig out, because I don't think that Danilo is going to be fit for a wee while. And the rest of them, like the winger Cortez, he wasn't even fit at the start at the Hertz game. It proved it. So if everybody can just get back fit, give the man a chance, get them in, then the club's got a chance. I hope that's all made sense to you anyway.
Right, it looks like CD9 will have to carry the burden, AK. You know, let's be honest, he's the best striker at the club we've got. There's no argument on that. Because he's a guy that's fit and scoring the goals. There's nobody else there to really challenge him. So he's the best striker we've got at the moment, and it's good that he's managed to get on the scoring charts in the last few weeks. Was it?
Well, I'm delighted for him.
3 and 5 or something, is it?
I'm delighted for him, Dessers. Well deserved. Look, we all criticise him because at times he is rotten, you know, but he's there. He's the one that's there and scored the goal. We didn't look as if we were going to score. We had all the chances in the world, and then we said it earlier, and Bob Jer came on, he said it could have been 7 or 8-0. Dead easy, could have been 7 or 8-0. My goodness gracious, we're our own worst enemies. So we need to find a way through and do that. Sorry, Southgate, sorry.
AK, CD9.
The enigma.
The enigma.
CD9 is. Listen, you're right, but look at the contribution that he made to come on at half time. He scores a goal, he sets up another goal, and to be honest, there should have been 2 assists. Matondo should have scored as well, so that could have been 3-0 in the 45 minutes of his contribution. So whether we like him, whether we know, we're stuck with him, and we need to go forward. A height's no ideal, and geez, if he gets doing with an injury, look at what we've got beneath him. You know, Danilo, Iganami, as you're saying, and Lovelace. It's not exactly inspiring stuff. You look at the squads that we had under Gerrard, under Gio, getting to a European final. You compare the team that we've got now to the 2 teams, and we're miles away from it. So it's really down to poor recruitment that we've had in the last 2-3 years, putting, longer than that even, putting guys on big contracts, long-term contracts on big wages, and we can't move them. And that's the position we find ourselves in as a club now.
Well, if you look at it then, as we've just said, right, we've talked about the defenders and what we've got at centre backs, full backs. Bridvan out injured, Tav, and you've looked at your midfield options and your striking options. So, where do you think the manager, Bridge, would go for first to strengthen the squad? If he was bringing in one player, and it was only going to be one, that's all we were getting. Where do you think his choice would be? With the squad that we've spoke about in the striking department, midfield or defence?
I think defence. I think defence is screaming out for help, to be honest. I don't know. I don't even know if Croker is injured. But my goodness.
No, I'm not talking about anyone being injured. We're just talking about if he has to bring in a player.
Yeah, I think it would be.
Where do you think his priority would be? I think I'd want that.
Personally speaking, it would be defence.
Bob, Ger, what would you think?
I would agree with Bridge there, like maybe defence. But I didn't think that Balogun's injury is too serious, is it? I don't know. Educate me. But it would be defence.
I'm just talking about if they're all fit. No, we have to bring a player in. So you two think it'd be a central defender?
Well, I'm going to change my mind here and go and give something. I just said it 2 minutes ago or 5 minutes ago that Dessers needs a hand, because I didn't see Danilo being fit for a wee while, and Lovelace, I don't think he's up to it, and Dessers needs a hand. We need another striker. I see it fell through with a laddie for Rapid Bucharest, but I don't think they had the money for him anyway. That was a lot of YouTube nonsense, that. But we need to get somebody, whether it's a loan, which is the way the club seems to go at the moment, get somebody in a decent striker on loan, because we haven't got Balogun there that can fill in. And I'll change my mind to a striker. Sorry, Bridge.
Not at all, pal.
AK, what would you think the manager would go for?
Striker for me, pal. I've said that for a long time, but you need to be putting these teams away. And if we can get a quality striker in, that would be the first port of call. Because you say if Dessers breaks down, we've not got a lot beneath him, and we really need to be putting teams away early. So, as I say, what was our strikers when Gerrard was there? I mean, you're talking about Defoe, Roof, Morelos, Itten. You look at the strike force when we had Gio as our manager. You've lost Sakala. You know, guys of that ilk, Cholak, as well as Morelos again, and Kent. We're lacking goals all over the park, and I think our standard, our low scoring is proving that. We're scoring 2 goals, but a lot of the times we're not putting the opposition away as early as we would like to.
I think, well, listen, when we get our continuity, that we can stick the same team on the park for the 2 or 3 weeks in a row would probably help. I think if you've got, well, technically you should have, if Matondo was filling in, you would be looking for him to be contributing in goals-wise in creation for the striker. Tierney, you're looking to be creating and scoring more regular going forward. So you're looking for, and Cortez, when he comes in, is in the same boat. They've got to help the striker, whether it be Dessers, Danilo, whoever. We need contributions for them, and you need a contribution for a number 10 scoring and your central defenders now and again at set pieces. Did we miss Sima for last time? Probably, aye. Well, you tell us, Bob J, why you think we miss him.
So he missed his strength, he missed his pace, he missed his goals. There's something about him. Sima was great for us, and he could hurt them to across the city. It was proved when he played against them, the laddie. So I would have Sima back in a minute, and I'll say this without fear of contradiction. I think we all would. Sima loved Rangers, he loved being here, he loved playing for the club. So I hope somewhere along the line they could find the money to bring him back, because he was an asset to us, aye. Definitely. I'm sure you all agree.
Bridge, your thoughts on Abdullah Sima?
Yeah, I think he's, at the present moment, he's a bit of an enigma, if you follow what I mean. We don't know whether he wants to come back to Ibrox. I would think he would. But there's some really strange going on. Other than it's a big high fee, then he could come back to Ibrox, no problem. But to me, it's obviously money. And there's not much Abdullah Sima can do about it. It's just money. And Rangers obviously do not have the money. So unless someone can chip in a few million, you might get a chance of getting them. But the truth is, I doubt it. I don't think so. I just don't think so. And I think he was a smashing player. Big, huge smile on his face when he's playing. Loved it.
Aye, I think he got the club. I think he had the work rate. I think he was good in both boxes. I think he worked hard for the team. And I think if a deal could be done, I think he probably would come back. AK, but Brighton aren't going to just taunt him for just because we're struggling. We need a lot of money, or we can't afford it, and we need players out, so we can't hang me. So it's like, I just think if he's not going to be available this year, and we know he's out of price range, and Brighton might get a better offer elsewhere for him for some other club. I don't even know, is he back playing for them at all? Is he in their squads? Is he under 23 team or something? I don't know. I've not heard anything about him since he left, to be perfectly honest, AK.
No, I don't think so. I think he's been frozen out a wee bit with the Canwell and Haji situation for us. Not that he's shown a bad attitude or that with Brighton. It's just I think they've got a new manager in there, haven't they? And I don't think that the guy fancies him as being part of the squad long term. So it's a wee bit like the Malik Tillman situation we had with Bayern before he moved on to PSV, and we just kind of stump up with that sort of cash, I'm afraid. No one have got the high earners still in the building. So it really comes down to moving the likes of Cantwell and Haji and Dow and Matondo and all the kind of guys off the wage bill before we could even think about getting round the table with Brighton to thrash out some sort of deal. I think Bob Jer's right. I think Sima would love to come back to Rangers. I think he intimated that he loved playing up here and for the club. I think Clement was very keen on him as well, but it all comes down to finances, I'm afraid, and they're dictating where we are as a club and the sort of business that we want to be doing.
Even if Brighton released him, I think Sima would like to come back to Rangers, but I think he would want the same wages. The Brighton are paying him. I'm only saying that because that's what I think. Obviously, I'm not sure. And I don't think, because English Premier team, isn't it? Brighton, English Premier team, so...
Aye, they paid a few million for him, Bridge.
I'm saying that, so he's probably on a few quid, So I don't even think Rangers could afford his wages.
Well, we paid whatever. I think we could get a deal done with Sima if whether it be the loan deal or if we were willing to buy him. But they paid £8 or £9 million for him, and you know how much players go for. You know how much players go for in down in the Premiership to other clubs. If they see something in them, they could easily get 15 for him. If somebody bid 15 million for him, they could easily get that down there for Sima. If somebody put a bid in like that for him,
do you honestly see any English team, Premiership team, actually coming in and bidding 15 million for Sima?
Well, it'd be a cheap buy for him, wouldn't it? If you think about it, if you look at the potential he's got, it wouldn't be a lot of money for players to pay that for him. A team to pay it, and then
they see any team being interested in him. I just don't. I could see him lying in the doldrums with Brighton, and eventually getting told a wee girl a continental player, something like that. I could see that happening to him. I hope to goodness if Brighton decide they don't want him, no matter what, they're not going to get their money. I doubt very much if anybody's going to pay that money for him because he's hardly kicked the ball. He's hardly kicked the ball for them for a long time.
If people's looked at him and Brighton paid £8-9 million, well, even if you match that to Brighton, but Brighton don't usually sell players just for no lot of money. They usually sell players for quite a lot of money, as you've seen in the past with some of their transfers that they've got for players. So, no, listen, if we could do a deal for Sima, I'd be all for it. I think he'd be a good addition to the squad. He knows what we're about. He knows the club. He liked it here. And he was good at what he done in certain positions for us. AK, so aye, that would be a no-brainer for me. But if no, we're looking at that squad as we see it now, and Clement's got a massive job now. But I mean, you can't even put the same team on the park most weeks. We're picking up, and we've got players out injured. We've got to move before we can bring more in. That's more or less your squad. You could add a couple other players in here or there that are squad players, as we're talking, Robbie Fraser and that. But that is your squad. So he'll be hoping probably Raskin, Cortez come back quick. Danilo gets up to speed to help bolster the squad, more regular competition for places, and get the best out the fringe players at the moment that he's using. That's what we're left with at the moment.
You're right, pal. You're right. And to be honest, it doesn't. It's not very positive for where we are now, looking forward. So that's how desperate kind of situation we're in now. Going back to the match point about Sima, listen, Wolves paid 35 million for Silva. So if you've got clubs like that, that sort of money, I think a club would pay 15 million for Sima, not a problem down there. So that Sima would be brilliant if he could come back, but it's all down to affordability.
Indeed.
And that's what I was trying to put across down in England, Bob J. 15 million, a club taking a chance on Sima isn't a big outlay for them. And if he is successful, they'll be selling him for a lot more, probably for 45 the next time you see him getting sold. No, if he done well doing that, that's how easy it could change.
Absolutely. I mean, they're Tottenham. They delved out 60 million quid for Dominic Solanke, and Liverpool just shipped him out the door because he wasn't good enough. Did a decent job at Bournemouth, the boy, but £15 million in England, that's peanuts, guys. We all know that. Imagine a working man like me saying that's peanut. That's doing an English football. They're changing hands in there in that first division for that. I'm afraid that Sima might end up at Middlesbrough or something like that, you know. And it'd be a huge boost to the club if Sima come back. Huge boost to the support. I'd love to see him back, and I do believe the laddie would like to come back. He was playing European football here. Something he's not going to get, and if he's languishing at Brighton, let's hope they can work out a reasonable deal to get him to where he wants to be, because I do believe he would come back to Rangers in a minute. But it's a funny old game, the football. If he gets offered a lot of money somewhere else down there, well, he's going to take it, the laddie. He's a young boy, and it's a short life, so you never know, eh?
That's what you normally tips the balance for most players is money. Bob J, you know, but listen, I'd love him to come back. He's been here before. We know what we can get from him. He's had that injury. You'd hopefully that wouldn't hamper him going forward, and we would see the best of him again the way he started when he first came.
Oh, why?
When he was a hard-working player, and he can play right or left and probably play now and again through the middle. So, well, Bob, I'd like to thank you for phoning in, mate, because we've came to that time of the evening. So it was great to hear you.
I can assure you.
One of the wee squeezy boys, I know. Stress boys. Bob J, take that when you go out walking.
Mine are squeezy, and I'm going out walking with the dog there. So thanks a lot, lads. Great to hear from you.
Right, good to hear you, Bob J.
Didn't forget, Celtic paid £9 million for an electric eel. So there you go. Think about that again. Right. See you later, guys. Take care.
No worries. Thanks very much, Bob J.
Yeah.
AK, your final words, please.
No bother. Thanks to Bob J coming in there and giving his contribution. Pleasure as usual, alongside the legend that is the bridge man and your good self, Southside. Thanks very much, pal.
No, thanks very much for coming on tonight, mate. Appreciated and thanks for the help tonight. Bridgeman.
Oh, what can I say? Southside, a fantastic night. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. And you know, this is my last night for a wee while because I'm on my holidays for a couple of weeks. So, but brilliant. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Kelsey, were excellent. Thanks for carrying me through it. And of course the techie boys in the background. To all the Rangers fans listening in all over the world, I'm going away for a fortnight. You make sure this team wins every game that comes their way. Make sure they win it. keep it going for the Rangers, because the Rangers need us, and so they do.
Yep, I'd like to thank Bob Ger who phoned in tonight, and I'd like to thank everyone who listened in. Rangers Radio will be back tomorrow night from 8 to 10, and I'd like to thank you, AK, and you, Bridgeman. Enjoy your cruise. I'm sure you'll enjoy it, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks. So, as usual, there's only one team, one crown, so take it away, Foxy boy.